You were handed a simple formula as a kid: work hard, save your money, retire comfortable, and finally free. It sounds responsible, it sounds safe. There is just one quiet problem. For almost everyone who follows it, it does not actually work. Look around you. The hardest working people you know, nurses, builders, teachers, are not rich. And on this path, they never will be. Meanwhile, the genuinely rich barely seem to work at all. They sleep in, they travel, and somehow the money just keeps flowing in. This is not simply laziness versus effort, it is something far stranger than that. There are two completely different money games, and from the day you were born, you were only ever taught the rules to the one game that quietly keeps you poor. Game one is simple. You trade your hours for money. An hour of your life, a little bit of pay. It feels honest, and it is, but it hides a brutal ceiling. There are only 24 hours in a day, and you simply cannot sell hours that you do not have. And worse, the very moment you stop working, the money stops too. Get sick, get tired, get old, and the income just vanishes. This is the trap. Trading time for money looks safe and sensible, but it quietly chains you to work for the rest of your life. Now here is game two. The one the wealthy are actually playing. The strange part is, they barely trade their time at all. Instead, they spend their lives buying and building things that earn money on their own. There is a name for these things: assets, a business that runs without them, shares of growing companies, property that pays them rent, even money that is lent out to earn more money. An asset is really just a tiny machine that prints money while you sleep. And the rich spend their whole lives collecting these machines. You were taught to work for money. They were taught to make money work for them. That one quiet difference changes absolutely everything, and it all compounds, because here is the hidden engine that quietly builds, or completely destroys, every single fortune. Compound interest, money that earns money, which then earns even more money, faster and faster, like a snowball rolling down a hill. For the owner, it is a quiet miracle. A small sum, left untouched for decades, can swell into a fortune almost entirely on its own. But flip that exact same force around, and the miracle becomes a monster. And most people are standing on the very wrong side of it. Because the same compounding that makes the rich richer is quietly, relentlessly working against you through one thing: debt. Your credit card, your car loan. Every single month, the interest grows, compounding against you silently while you sleep. The rich let compounding quietly build their wealth. The rest of us let that same force quietly build our cage. But there is a second, quieter thief in this story. One that robs even the careful saver who thinks they are doing everything right. Inflation. Every single year, the money just sitting in your bank account silently loses a slice of its value. The cash you worked so hard to save buys a little less bread, a little less fuel, a little less of everything, every year, forever. So the advice to just save your money is quietly terrible. Sitting still in cash, your savings melt like a block of ice in the sun. The wealthy understand this in their bones. It is why they almost never hold cash. They turn it into assets that rise faster than prices. And then there is the part that almost nobody says out loud. The tax system itself is quietly built for owners, not for workers. Your paycheck is taxed first before you ever even touch it. You earn, you are taxed, and only then are you allowed to spend. The owner does the exact opposite. They earn, they spend on their business first, and they are taxed only on whatever is left over. Same dollar, two completely different rule books. One quietly designed for you, and the other quietly designed for them. By now you might feel a little angry. Good. But understand this clearly. None of it was built by some secret villain in a chair. It is simply a giant machine, and the machine quietly needs most people to stay exactly where they are, working and spending. It needs workers to run it and consumers to buy from it. A whole nation of owners would grind the entire thing to a halt. So everything around you quietly nudges you to trade your time for money, then spend that money before it can ever grow. Work, spend, repeat. A loop so completely normal that you never once think to question it, and it can quietly swallow an entire life. But here is the turn, and it is the whole reason for this. You were never lazy. You were never secretly bad with money. You were simply handed the rules to the losing game and told that it was the only game there was. Now you have seen the other board, and the escape does not require being a genius or already being rich. It requires one quiet shift in what you do with a single dollar. Stop trading every dollar you earn for things that only lose their value. Start trading some of them for assets that pay you back. Buy a small slice of the machine instead of only ever feeding it. Own businesses, own shares, own the very thing that earns. Let compounding finally begin to work for you instead of against you. Start small, The snowball truly does not care how tiny it begins. You will not feel rich by tomorrow. This game is slow on purpose. But slow and certain quietly beats fast and never, every single time. The hardest part was never really the money at all. It was simply never being shown that the other game even existed. Now you have. So make your very first move today. Turn just $1 from a worker into an owner, and quietly the whole game begins to change.